Welcome to a new episode of BLOC Art News. My name is Brenda Lucio-Discard, and today I'm wearing all of this to reflect the good energy from ancient times. Very special episode, but let's first think outside the block. Starting with international news, the very first African-American woman, Simone Lee, was chosen to represent the USA at 2022 Venice Biennale. Remember that this Biennale was supposed to happen next year, 2021. Well, because of the pandemic, they have announced the new date. It will happen from April 23 to November 27, 2022. So we got some time to plan that trip. It's the 59th edition of the Biennale, and let's check out some images of this chosen one. Boston's Institute of Contemporary Art yesterday announced, in conjunction with the U.S. State Department Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs, that sculptor Simone Lee will represent the U.S. at the 59th Venice Biennale, which is to take place April 23 to November 27, 2022. Lee is the first African-American woman to receive the honor in the Biennale's 125-year history. The Brooklyn-based artist, known for her work examining history, race, gender, and labor, will create a new series of sculptures for the U.S. Pavilion, which is co-commissioned by Boston ICA Director Jill Medvedeau and Chief Curator Eva Respini. Well, this only confirms that is our era, our time. Women in every single of the different fields around the world is our time. Breaking news, Dali's masterpiece, Couple with Their Heads Full of Clouds, was sold at the Bonhams London auction and achieved £8.1 million. This is breaking super fresh news, of course, in your BLOC Art News. Let's try to deconstruct a little part of this masterpiece. It says Freud, 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 Freud everywhere. There are a number of metaphors presented in the two panels that relate to Dali's favored motifs. Freud's fascination with latent childhood memories can be seen in the figure of the skipping girl, who represents the blissful state of untainted childhood. She's imbued with a sinister aspect, however, as we see her abandoned in a hospitable desert landscape. The famous birding giraffe is one of Dali's most recognizable symbols. It represents, in his words, the idea of apocalyptic masculinity. Without doubt, Dali is using the giraffe to represent the impending disasters of the Civil War. This is India Phillips, Global Head of Impressionist and Modern Art at Bonhams. Of course, I was going to choose Dali's news. Let me take you to pre-Columbian ancient times of Peru. Ancestral or Ancient is the current exhibition that we are showing right now at Artsy platform, and only by appointment in Lima, Peru, with a small group of 4 people max, with all hygiene protocols in Barranco district. In case if you want to visit and you're living here in Lima, you can send a DM, drop a comment with your email, or also contact at bloc-art.com, and we'll be pleased, as usual, to assist you. Now, I want to quote myself with the curatorial text, because most of people abroad think about Peru and ancient times and only ring a bell about Machu Picchu, or maybe perhaps Huacapucllana if you dare to come here to the capital of the country. But let me tell you, Huacapucllana, yes, is one of the 350 huacas that we have only in the capital of Lima. Only one. And mostly visited because of its restaurant. So I want to share a sneak peek of our art exhibit, but in case if you can download Artsy and take a look to the show, it's available for the entire globe. What are we doing to maintain our history as an integral part of us? We stay quiet and let machines tear it apart. How are we relating to our ancient history? Many of us have been reading about the discoveries of ancient sanctuaries in recent decades. At the same time, we have stood by to watch the Huacanyampol, for example, to be torn down and demolished. We live amongst them, and yet we are oblivious to their disappearance. In an attempt to present invaluable knowledge of these ancient cultures, we have gathered Peruvian artists from the cities of Arequipa and Lima who channel our pre-Columbian cultures through different mediums. Claudia Cafarena is inspired by the Great Pyramid of Huacapucllana as she constructs her own interpretation of these divine adobe shapes in her sculptural piece. Jerko Slater, on the other hand, illustrates the structural compositions of the Huacas to create imagery that intertwines his own digital language onto textiles. Our third participant, Denise Giras, explores the archaeological remains in Lima at night, studying the effect of light on the architectural shape and stone of the ancient structures, presenting these infinite portals as geometric transformations that emanate the mysticism of their wisdom. Her reconstruction allows contemporary relationships to be formed. Turning to ancient techniques, the Paracas ring knitting practice is prevalent in Yvette Salazar's sculpture. Delicate but rough at the same time, she contemplates topics of cultural heritage and identity. Sandra Cáceres' work is nourished by an extensive research process, gathering her careful study of pre-Hispanic and colonial textiles, Peruvian cultural traditions, science, and observations of the interconnection between the human being and its natural environment. Her piece Nidificium uses the ancient textile artifact pushka to spin wool into plants, stems, roots, and moths woven together by handmade thread. We're surrounded by beauty, but too blind to appreciate it, and are connected to it on much more profound levels that we cannot seem to comprehend. What would it cost to recognize the dimensions of its powerful influence on us? Our passivity will let future generations forget about our history. It is important to understand that our society would not be without its history and that it is our collective responsibility to maintain it with the respect it deserves. Do remember that our legacy only becomes more exquisite over time and that by relating to it, we can potentialize who we are able to become. What are you, as a true Peruvian, doing to keep our history alive? This text, I wrote it from scratch and was edited thanks to Helena Herzberg. She's our editor-in-chief. In economics, well, you know that I love this topic. I want to share this bar graph done by the Art Economics 2, the survey that was done by Art Basel and UBS, and gathered the results from the first half of the year, talking January to June, to a very big part of galleries from USA, Europe, Hong Kong, and just a little bit from Latin America. So let's take a look at this. What do you read there? Collaborations, collaborations, collaborations. So this is why I'm so perseverant about that action and how you can work this out not only inside your country, not only with different countries, but also with institutions and museums. So to all of those that keep up the good fight, let's keep up the good fight with perseverance. It's fundraising season in Peru, and let's start with El Rastrillo, that has comparte, would be the translation to share or sharing, and gathers Peruvian artists and also some international artists that are donating into this Fundades fundraising organization. So let's take a look to some of these art pieces. Of course, we are offering more than 10 Peruvian artists from our portfolio, and it's just a click away, mostly for locals, but we are also shipping worldwide. Plus, AWLC, American Women Literary Club, is organizing a fundraising event called Noche de Música y Arte, Music and Arts Evening. And now, because of the pandemic, they've turned it into the digital dimension. Let's take a look to some of their offerings. Of course, BLOC Art is participating in this, and photographies and also canvases are available this time. But not least, Anikim, yes, the association that helps childborn victims. Well, we are going to organize and launch the second campaign of the fundraising, starting from November and going all the way to Christmas time. Well, guys, I really hope that you enjoy this, and remember to spread the art, share, comment if you like it, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel, ring the bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming episodes. What else? Well, keep safe, be skeptic, question everything, and think outside the block.